All right, hey guys, so in this lesson we're going to learn about how to set up your MailerLite account and connect it to your blog for your email subscriber sign-up list. And so this process will pretty much be identical or fairly similar regardless of which email service you're using. I love MailerLite because you can stay on it for free until you reach 1,000 subscribers, and it just has so many great tools that you can use, and so that's why I use this one. So let's hop over here. So when you log in to your dashboard, so first of all, if you haven't set up your email or don't have an account with anything, or you're looking to transfer over to MailerLite, the one thing you do have to have when signing up is a domain email address. So if you are currently using something like Gmail or Yahoo, as far as like how you've been signing up for different things, with a self-hosted account like through SiteGround or Bluehost or one of those, when you log into your cPanel, you can actually create a customized email address that has your domain name. So like for mine, I have several, but one of them is simply leanne@girlbossesrock.com. And so the girlbossesrock.com is my domain. And so in order to create an account with MailerLite, you do have to have a domain email. And if you're not sure how to do that, I do have a video that kind of walks you through that process, so you can search it through the YouTube search box. Okay, so once you are all set up and ready to log in and get to work, pretend all of this is blank. Obviously, I already have things set up, but it'll basically look like this, and there'll be no numbers here for you. And so what we're going to do first is come over here to subscribers. And so the first thing you'll need to do is create a list, which in this program is called a group. So from subscribers, you click on groups, and then you're going to create a new group. And we're just going to call this one test. And so what this is, basically a group is like a folder. And so when you create your forms and put it on your blog, and someone enters their email address for them to sign up, there has to be a folder for that email address to go into. And so in this case, it's called a group, but if you think of it as far as what a folder would be, that kind of helps make sense of what it is. You'll hear it called list as well. What subscriber list do you want to go to? And so, you know, you see I have several here on mine. So I have one for my blog specifically, but I also have several courses, and this way I can send personalized emails to the students who enrolled in those courses and then give them the opportunity to sign up for my regular newsletter. And so as we go through this, you know, you also need to watch the video and the training for GDPR compliance, and we'll kind of go through some of those steps in here. But in order to add somebody to your list, they have to give you explicit consent for the things you send in that list. So like my email for Girl Bosses Rock, I send out blogging tips, tools, resources, things like that. Someone who signed up strictly for my Profitable Pinner course, which is about affiliate marketing on Pinterest, they may not want all of that additional stuff. So in order for me to send them my standard emails that I send to my regular list, I have to get their permission to be added to that list. And so that's kind of what GDPR is. And yes, it is specific to visitors who are from the EU. I have just made it a habit to do it across the board because one, it's easier to keep track of, and two, the steps that you have to take for the GDPR compliance, actually, aside from, you know, the privacy part of it, it also helps you to keep people on your list that actually want to be there. And so the double opt-in and things like that, and we will talk about that as well, just makes a second step for them confirming that they want to be on your list, and therefore they'll be opening your emails, which is ultimately what you want them to do. All right, so we've created our first group, aka list, and so now we want to create our first form. And so for the most part, your form is going to be maybe on your sidebar. That would be the ideal place as a new blog until you start getting things like, you know, things that you can give them for free, like freebie downloads and stuff like that. But just a simple subscribe box on your sidebar is the first step. And so you can see mine right here. It says get on the list, get business tools and entrepreneur resources right to your inbox along with some other goodies. They enter their email address and hit add me. So that's very specific, very standard. Get on my email list. You're not trying to say, hey, join my list and I'm going to send you an ebook or download this freebie or anything like that. And we're going to talk about those in another video. But this would be the very first subscribe form that you put on your brand new blog before you really get everything else up and running. So from forms, you're going to do an embed form. And it's very easy. You can see I have several different ones here. So you're just going to create a form. You're going to call it whatever. We'll say test again. Now, when someone puts their email address into the box on there, where do you want it to go? That's where you would assign it to the folder or the group called test or whatever you have named yours. And just getting started, I would just give that subscriber group the name of whatever your blog is. As you get more into it and start adding more content and things, you may, set them off and have different ways of emailing them. Like, for me, I do affiliate marketing, I do Pinterest, I do this, I do that. So I might have a list of people who simply want information on Pinterest and they don't blog, so they don't care about blogging stuff. So I don't want to send them blogging information. So that's another way to filter it. So from this page, you can edit this to look however you want it. Sign up for news and special offers. Make it a good call to action. Like mine says here, get on the list, and this is what you're going to get. The one thing I see a lot with new blogs, it just says subscribe and get goodies to your inbox. Okay, well, I get enough crap in my inbox. What are you going to be providing that's of value and worth the time that it's going to take me to sort through all the other mess in my inbox? And so that's why you need to sell this a lot better than just saying sign up for my emails, sign up for my newsletter. Nobody cares about that. We think our stuff is really great, and it probably is, but when you're talking to people who just come upon it, what's in it for them? By, what is it that you are going to provide to them that has enough value that they would want to sign up and get on your list? And so, like you see here, my blog is for new bloggers. And so I'm telling them, I will send you tools and tips and things about business and blogging and all of that. That's what I'm going to send you. Okay. So for here, get signed up for weekly recipes and tips for staying organized as a new mom. There you go. So if you were a mom blogger, this would be a great one. And then just kind of edit it up and make it look pretty. On the title, I personally don't like that there, so I would put mine down here. Let's connect. And again, kind of tailor it to meet what your audience or your blog is really about so that it resonates more with them. And so from here, you can edit the background, you can edit the color, the email. Hit save. And so from here, you have your form background. The form itself, you can change it to full width if it was longer. I wouldn't do that for a sidebar, so we'll leave it at default. But if you wanted to put an image in the background, you could simply upload it here. Just kind of add one just to show you, and so it'll put it on the background. So of course, if you put an image in the background, you need to make sure the words are bold and readable. You can change the button color, all these things are right here. You can change the text. I tend to use Georgia for all of my text. And the text for the title, the same thing. That way all of mine is kind of consistent throughout my blog. I use the same fonts and everything. color schemes and all of that. So however you want it to look. And so we'll just say this is you know, good. The next thing you'll want to do is once they enter their email and hit subscribe, then you know, they should expect a box to pop up confirming that it went through. And so you click over here and you can tailor what this says. Now, it's really important that you tell them, be sure, check your email to confirm so you can start receiving the weekly tips or something like that. But make sure you tell them to check their email because we're going to have double opt-in set up on this, okay? And so again, I will center this just so it looks good. Can make it bigger so it's more readable. Title, we want to center that and make it bold. There we go. And so I probably wouldn't have the form on it just because it's kind of distracting. And so, why did that do that? Oh. There we go. And we'll talk about this later, but this is also where you would put the link for them to, if it's a download a freebie or if you're linking them to your resource library or whatever. But we'll talk about that in another video. All right, so now you've got your form and your message all set up. I'm going to hit done editing. Sometimes this takes just a moment to process. All right, so now we want to make sure double opt-in is on. And so from here, you need to set up your confirmation. So once they give you their email, that little thing pops up, says go check your email. What does the email look like that's in their inbox? And so this is where you will adjust that. So we're going to click edit. So up here, it's not automatically going to populate with what information you put in when you signed up for MailerLite. And so if you have different emails for different things, like I said, for me, you know, I do have my academy, and so anyone who's sending me emails, or if I'm sending out an email to my students, I would change this to courses@girlbossesrock.com. So make sure this is the email that you want, if they responded to it, where you would want it to go. And then we're going to edit this. Now, it's really important for continuity and building your following and your audience that you brand your emails. So whatever, you know, your kind of color scheme is for your blog, you know, the overall look and feel of it, you want to kind of carry that over into everything, your social media, your email, you know, all of it. So no matter where they're at, it all looks like it's coming from the same place. And so from here, you can upload an image, which is super easy to create in Canva. And so this is the one that I use now in my email headers. And once you've created one of these, it's going to be there in the emails. And so we'll show you how to do actual sending of emails in another video. But once it's in, you know, the library here, it's always there. So you don't have to like create a new one each time. All right, so we're going to leave this. The only thing I'm going to do is maybe change. You can adjust the spacing here. So I'm going to add a text box here under that. And I'm actually going to take that one off. So this, I'm going to say, please confirm. And I'll make that bold. Make it a little darker. Keep my link colors the same. And then down here, I'm going to kind of, there's some specific stuff that you need to put in here in relation to like GDPR and your privacy policy and things like that. So I'm just going to kind of post some stuff here, but basically, actually, let me open up and I'll copy exactly what I have on mine to give you an idea. Okay, so you see here, I'm actually just going to kind of copy all of this. I'm going to put it over here into this one. So by confirming above, you're granting permission for Girl Bosses Rock to send you additional emails, which may include blog posts, tips, and resources related to blogging and business, and our monthly newsletter. So this is where you're telling them what type of emails you'll be sending them. And you should never send them anything outside of this. Of course, your newsletter, you can play around with that. But for instance, I do business and blogging. So it would just not be appropriate for me to send out an email about some new product that I want to share, that's like for dogs. Like I have dogs. Everyone knows I have dogs. So I might kind of mention that in my newsletter, just as a, oh, hey, by the way, this is what I'm doing this month. But I would never send an email specifically trying to sell or get them to buy a product about pet products, because my business is about blogging and business, not about pets. So just make sure that you say exactly what you're going to be sending them and don't send stuff outside of that. We promise to never send you spam. We won't sell, trade, or otherwise share info. And then it's really important that you provide a link in here to your privacy policy that you have on your blog so they can read. And this is for GDPR compliance, so it's a must if you have traffic from the EU, which pretty much anyone on the internet is subject to that. But again, I just make it across the board for all of my subscribers. That way I'm not having to do twice as much work. And so then I go on to say, once you're confirmed, you can stop receiving the emails at any time by clicking the unsubscribe button that will be at the bottom of every future email. And then if you received it by mistake, delete this email and you will not be subscribed if you don't click the link. Actually, that should say below. There you go. All right. So then I put the clickable link below all of that information. So they have to read all this before they get to it. And so, yes, please subscribe me to this list. You can totally change the color of the button. You can make the font a different color, so however you want it to look, brand it, for your theme and how you want everything to look. And then I'm going to delete that. However, I am going to add, you must have an actual complete mailing address. You must have that down at the bottom. So I'm going to kind of move this box down so you can see that. So down here, and this is for FTC compliance. This has nothing to do with GDPR. But if you send email marketing, you must have this. This cannot be, you can include your email address in here, but it can't just be your email. You have to have a physical mailing address. So I don't recommend that you use your home address, of course, because this is going out to everybody. But you can pay an annual fee for a post office box. And there's also some virtual mailboxes that you can look into through the internet, which isn't like a physical location. But at a minimum, if you send out emails, it must have a physical mailing address at the bottom of it. Okay? So we're going to save that. and hit done. Okay, so now that is the button, the email for them to confirm that they want on your list. And then the second one is once they hit that, they will get this next one, which is the thank you confirmation. And so again, I'm going to edit this. We're going to brand it. I'm going to use that same image. That way it's in every one of my emails. I'm going to add my post office information. And then here, you know, you can personalize this, subscription confirm, things. I like to say something a little more me, and so I'll say something like, awesome. Now, be on the lookout for a welcome from me to let you know a little about the GBR community and more, whatever. So just kind of say something, you know, but definitely let them know to be on the lookout, that you'll be sending them more emails. I personalize mine a little more to say be on the lookout for a welcome email series that's loaded with goodies and freebies to get your blog started without spending any money or something like that. And that way they're looking out for it, and I'm enticing them with the free stuff that's going to be in it. Okay? And so that is how you create a form. And so now we are going to just kind of look it over. Everything's good. Go back over here to form settings. And so if you're going to put it on your sidebar, you will go into your customize. And I know everyone's theme is set up a little differently. So you may have the ability to put it in your footer. You may have the ability to put it like here across the top, just wherever your theme allows for it to be placed. But you'll come here to widgets. Mine is in the sidebar. And you'll simply add a widget and you'll select custom HTML code. I'm going to go all the way down so you can see when it pops up here. And then this, I use this one here. Yeah, we'll go back and we'll use this one. So I will, no, I'm sorry. We're going to use this one. This one you would use for, like if you were going to do a pop-up that popped up on every page, and we'll talk about that one in another lesson. But when you put this, you actually enter this data like in the header section, and so that's like a whole nother lesson. So for this purpose, we're simply going to copy this little snippet of code here, and right here on the HTML, we're going to paste it. I do believe I have enough room here for another widget. Some sidebar, some themes only allow for so many things to be placed in the side. And yeah, I think this was the last one that I could put on there. Anyway, when you punch this in, it should pop up right there. Go ahead and delete. Oops. But you'll notice up here, where am I at? There I am. I added a heading for it, okay. I said connect with me, you know, give it a heading, say something, join the community, get on the list, you know, put something catchy right here. Don't just put subscribe because, well, that's kind of boring. So make it catchy, make it enticing, And then be sure when you're creating the box that you color match it so it meshes with your theme, so it's not like totally out of place. All right, so that is how you put it into your sidebar. Now, if you were simply just typing a post and said, you know, I have some other opt-ins which I used an actual plugin for my ones that go in the post, like this is OptiMonster, and that's a whole nother lesson. But you could write something here like, be sure to get on my email list, or be sure to sign up for emails, and you could hyperlink my email list, and then you would link it to this. And so if they clicked on it, it would open up the box that we created. So instead of putting the box physically on the page, you could just add a clickable link for them to click on and get to it. You can also share this in email, because you can't put the box in an email. But if you were sending out an email to some people to join your email list for this thing, you could, add this landing URL right here as well. All right, so let's go back to forms, and I want to show you really quick. So that was an embed form. Now let's talk about pop-ups. So pop-ups are those when you land on someone's site, and either right away or after you've been on it a few seconds, then the thing pops up right in the middle of the screen. I do recommend maybe one of these. Don't go overboard because they're really annoying, and if you have them pop up all the time, people will leave your site because they're not there to look at a pop-up. They're there to read your content, and it's especially annoying for mobile users. So I have mine to set 10 seconds. Once they land on my main page, then after 10 seconds, this will pop up, and it pops up just like it's showing right here. I added the image, and so you go through the form in the same way, just kind of add the words and stuff that you want. And then for that one, you would actually paste this code right here into, so if you are using a Genesis theme, it would be under Genesis theme settings, all the way down, and you would paste it into this header section. And so you can see I already have it in here, but if you don't have it, you would just kind of scroll down and hit enter till you get to a fresh line, and then paste it in there and hit save, and then it will show up in the manner that you set it. And here, the mode under behavior, as you're going through creating this form, it'll give you this page to answer. And so you tell it exactly when you want it to pop up. So I say wait 10 seconds before it pops up. You can also say when a user scrolls about halfway down the page or right before they close the page, how many times. So if I have return visitors, like you come to my page today, but then you come back tomorrow, it's not going to pop up again tomorrow. Now after 30 days, it'll pop up again. And then you can set it to where it doesn't show up on certain pages if you don't want it to. And so that's how you modify the behavior for it. And so that is really the end of creating forms. So now you've got your email set up. You've created your first subscriber list or group. You've created your very first form, which is recommended to put on your sidebar. And you have linked it so that the emails will go into that subscriber list. And so in the next couple of lessons, we are going to talk about how to automate emails, like your welcome email, so that it goes automatically without you having to go in and send it each time. And we are also going to talk about creating opt-in forms in which you provide something in exchange for them giving your email, such as a downloadable digital item, or maybe it's a link to something that's password protected. But either way, opt-in forms are a great way to increase your subscribers and build your audience, but they serve a purpose a little different than your standard subscribe to my blog form that goes in your sidebar. So that's it. I hope this was helpful, and I will see you guys in the next lesson.